Hello, everybody, and welcome to the main roster. As always, I'm Dan, and I'm joined by a very mucusy Jeremy.
Always
Hey there.
mucusy. Always mucusy. That's me. Mucus Jazz. Mucus Mania.
Mucus
over here.
Jazz. That's your ring name.
It is. Yes. But mucus that will not stand in the way of us talking about the last 2 weeks of WWE and all the many things that we have going into the Royal Rumble. And it will not stop me, as Carmen would like in the chat immediately, to be shown the championship. I get the feeling that people might have been waiting a little bit of time for this championship to arrive and to be shown off on this show.
It's eagerly anticipated. I think it's been more anticipated than any of the WWE championships, you know.
Yeah, well, they don't even tell us when they're changing a championship. It's just all of a sudden, oh, look, there's a new belt. Like, there might be a rumour.
We get rumours, yeah. Apart from that.
Yeah, without you and Dan's dirt sheet, we'd never know a new belt was coming.
I know.
Show us the damn belt! I've been waiting for months! Okay, well, the belt's, like, it's right here. Like, it is literally just off camera. It is there.
Yeah.
It's just there. Like, can you hear that? Probably not.
Clang.
Yeah, you could probably hear it. I'm not sure the stream can.
Yeah, I can hear a clang. But do you think we should make them wait a bit longer?
Oh, absolutely. It's not the time yet.
Yeah, okay.
Gotta keep them hanging. So it exists. It makes a nice clinky noise, and it will be revealed very soon. But there was huge news actually that we're going to kick off the show with.
Yeah.
As yesterday, WWE announced that they were selling the American portion, at least, of the WWE Network to NBC's streaming service, Peacock. Starting on March the 18th, which is about a year since they've had a crowd, funnily enough, Peacock will be the exclusive home of WWE pay-per-view and their huge back catalogue of events and documentaries. The sale is reported to be worth a whopping $1 billion. $1 billion.
Wow.
For a streaming service that's got, what, 500,000 subscribers in the US?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about this investment, NBC. I've got to be honest. What did you think of this news?
I thought it was interesting, and to be honest, as long as it doesn't affect over here, then...
Yeah, I mean... The WWE Network is still going to be exactly the same here, from what I understand. But I like the network too, Carmen. That's not what I'm saying. It's just
I like the network.
Like they've in the States, they've only got 500,000 subscribers. Compare that to the $1 billion that they've spent, and the fact that they're going to charge less for Peacock than they were for the network, and you can get other things on Peacock. It's going to take a while to recoup that money, but the idea that they can just buy, what did they say, 170,000 hours worth of content for their platform seems pretty cool.
Something like that.
Of course you like the network, you're using mine. Exactly. I like it even more that I'm not paying for it and someone else is. That works perfectly for me. It means I don't have to take out new credit cards to do another 30-day free trial. I used to just keep rolling free trials until Carmen so kindly gave me his login to watch the Lana WWE Chronicle. That was the reason. Yeah. It's like, have you seen the Lana documentary? No. Okay. Here is my login and password. Go and watch the Lana documentary. Okay. Done. I will do that. And it was good. It was good. My only concern for this is that what happens next with other countries around the world and their access to the WWE Network. Because if they can sell the American distribution to Peacock, does that mean they're now looking for buyers of WWE Network in Britain?
Yeah.
Do they go knocking on Sky's door and say, "Hey, I know that we're not on your system anymore, but how would you like 170,000 hours of on-demand content that you can charge your subscribers for, and just include with your packages?" And they'll probably say, "Yeah, all right, we've got too much money, let's do that." And then all of a sudden, you have to be a Sky subscriber again to watch pay-per-view.
Which would really annoy me.
Yeah, because you've fully moved over to BT Sport to keep going with the WWE stuff, right? And I think that there will be a lot of people who have done that as well, who, like I was for my entire teenage time. The only reason I ever got Sky Sports was for Raw and SmackDown, and I wouldn't have got it without it. And I think there are lots of people now that have gone straight to BT Sport to watch WWE and would not be very interested in keeping it if they couldn't get the pay-per-view there as well. It's a big cost commitment. If Sky get the rights to the pay-per-view again, and BT Sport have got it, I mean, how much does BT Sport cost? It's like £35 a month or something ridiculous like that, isn't it?
Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head. Something like that.
But it's not a cheap subscription. It's not, it's definitely not $9.99 a month. And add that into having to get Sky, which they've got a minimum contract of about £30 a month, because you can't just have what you want with Sky. You've got to get the entertainment package or whatever, and then add on the other things you want. So this would probably be rolled into the sport package. So you'd have to get Sky Sports. So you're up to £60 a month there. That's £90 a month already, plus your internet that you're paying for anyway. Becoming a WWE fan could become very, very expensive in the UK. So basically, if Sky end up owning the network, I can't watch pay-per-views for $9.99 a month on the network. Not unless that's what Sky want to do with it. No, not unless Sky say, "Okay, yeah, we'll buy the distribution of the WWE Network in the UK, and we'll just continue to charge $9.99 a month and take that money for ourselves." They could do that, but
if they do that, I'll be fine with it. But
I don't see any kind of business reason to do that. They wouldn't benefit any from doing that. So, but buying it and saying, you subscribe to Sky Sports and you get WWE Network free. That's and that's the only way you can get it. That does sound a totally Sky thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it hasn't happened. This is all hypothetical. And but all I'm saying is, if WWE can make $1 billion from doing this in the States, you can bet your ass that Vince McMahon is sitting there. Right. What other countries can I make money from right now? Who wants this stuff that is now a proven commodity?
Exactly.
Let's sell it. So watch this space.
We'll have to wait and see.
And on that note, while we can still watch it for a reasonable price, roughly, shall we crack on with the way we're doing this? We normally do rolling through the events of the week before, and then we do predictions at the end. The way we're going to do things this time is most of what we're talking about is just Rumble related. So we'll talk about what's happened the last couple of weeks, and we'll throw out a prediction where it is applicable and go from there. But we're not ready to make a prediction yet. The moment we're ready to make a prediction, I will crack out the belt.
To please people. So, we're ready to dive straight in. Last week's Friday Night SmackDown kicked off with Jey Uso declaring for the Royal Rumble, stating that he would go on to face the WWE Champion when he won, as well as calling out Shinsuke Nakamura. During the match between the two, Uso tried to secure victory by putting his feet on the ropes, but the referee caught him and Uso began to argue. This led to Shinsuke using the distraction to hit the Kinshasa and pick up the win.
Not a wholly Royal Rumble related thing, other than a few people declaring. But considering what we've been talking about a lot on the last few months of this show, and how important like Jey Uso has been in the entertainment factor of SmackDown, I thought it was important to bring this in. Really, my only question is, do you see any reasonable expectation of either of these men, Jey Uso or Shinsuke Nakamura, winning the Royal Rumble?
Not really.
No. As much as I would like it, we'll get into it a bit later, but Nakamura has definitely turned babyface now for seemingly no real reason. But he's won the Rumble before, and I don't think we've really built up to a point where he's going to win it again. I don't think that would make a whole lot of sense. Jey Uso, that would be an interesting one.
Yeah.
Peter Gilmore, thank you for the follow. Jey Uso would be interesting because it would set us up again to have Uso versus Reigns, and that was a really good rivalry. But I don't think it's run its course now. I don't think we're quite ready to throw that back together again. So I don't see that happening. Peter, we're doing wonderful. We're just talking about last week's SmackDown, or 2 weeks ago SmackDown. We've got a few weeks to catch up on before we predict the Royal Rumble. But that would not be the end of what actually turned out to be a stellar night for Nakamura, or his partner Cesaro, as the Swiss Cyborg took on Daniel Bryan in the main event. The match between them was every bit as technically proficient as you would expect, and in what may have been the biggest win of Cesaro's career, he defeated Daniel Bryan cleanly. No shenanigans whatsoever. This week, Cesaro followed his big win with another big win over another former world champion in Dolph Ziggler. George just took the question out of my mouth. Is Cesaro face? I don't think he is.
I don't know.
I don't think he is.
I don't think he is, but he's kind of like one of those heels that has face tendencies every now and then. You know what I mean? Yeah,
like, so obviously he's massively technically proficient, and they fully recognise that at every opportunity they get, and that's normally like a gateway into being a top babyface in WWE. But yeah, he's still doing heelish things. Like, he's still doing things to get in Daniel Bryan's face. He's taking credit for the things that Nakamura did. So I'm wondering if perhaps this has all happened so they can build towards a big kind of showdown of some kind between Nakamura and Cesaro in the Rumble. Maybe they start 1 and 2, and they've got to fight for ages. But I think after the Royal Rumble, we'll know which way around they're doing this, and I can see it being a rivalry going forward between Nakamura and Cesaro. Nakamura being the babyface, and Cesaro is the heel there. Peter asks, what companies do you follow the most? At the moment, I'm not going to speak for Dan, he can answer himself, but at the moment I'm just watching Raw and SmackDown and the pay-per-views. I haven't watched NXT or AEW or NXT UK in a very long time. Mainly because of time constraints, but I don't feel that they're the same show under Thunderdome style screens and things. It's not really the same kind of experience. Are you just watching the main roster stuff at the moment?
Watch Raw and SmackDown, obviously the pay-per-views, but I dip into NXT on YouTube.
Right.
Really, I don't watch the full because most of it is meh. I can't be bothered to watch it, so I go on YouTube, just like, oh, that one looks all right. Maybe watch that. So
yeah, and I think that will change the moment that we get back in front of crowds and there's that energy again. But NXT for one is not the same show without the energy of the crowd. And I've
absolutely not.
I've not enjoyed from what I've like caught in dribs and drabs or right back when it started. I've not enjoyed Mauro Ranallo not being there. I think he's a big part of NXT, and I can't stand Nigel McGuinness, so that puts me off watching NXT UK when there's not a whole lot of noise to drown out his irritating voice and rubbish analysis. So yeah, I will get back into the others eventually, but I'm quite happy focusing on the main roster stuff for the main roster podcast, to be honest.
Absolutely. So
shall we
move on?
Crack on, yeah, and we might get to a prediction shortly. You never know. George is just like, are they gonna predict? I want to see the belt. Are they gonna predict anything?
Just need to wait a little bit longer. So last week on SmackDown, we also saw the debut of a new talk show segment, Ding Dong Hello, with the host Bayley. Bayley took exception to Belair's nickname, the EST of WWE, and said that it should be her nickname instead, being that Bayley defeated Belair in the ring a few weeks ago. The pair argued, and eventually it was decided that they would determine who was the best in an obstacle course this week on SmackDown. This week, Bianca Belair easily put Bayley to shame in said obstacle course, even carrying Otis, which a hell of a feat, on her shoulders before dunking over Bayley for victory.
It's one thing that I didn't think they really stated enough when they brought Bianca up to the main roster, and that's how strong Bianca Belair is. Like in her NXT really days, strong. They did one of those like a combine type thing, like they do in the NFL. Different strength things, weights and vertical leaps and 40-yard dashes and all that kind of stuff. And when they looked at all the stats, Bianca Belair not only dominated the women, but she dominated the men as well. Like when they have rabbited in the past that like pound for pound, Cesaro is the strongest person in WWE. It's not the case anymore. Bianca Belair, like when you consider her size and the proportion above her body weight that she can lift and do all of that, she is the strongest, no pun intended, in WWE. And I like that they did the part where Bayley carried Chad Gable for a little bit and made it look like it was really difficult, whereas Chad Gable's like 190 pounds or whatever. And then they were like, you have to do Otis. Like, I struggle with Gable, so you've got no chance here. Like, Otis is like twice his size. He's easily 300 pounds. And she's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Dun, 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 dun. Here you go, Otis. Put you down nicely, and off we go. Dunk on you, and win.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Jez, is this belt as much of a tease as Dark Alexa Bliss is to Dan in her creepy outfit? Yeah. The belt, it's a sexy belt. I've got to give you a bit of a spoiler there. It's a sexy belt, so yeah, it's exactly the same.
It's only because it's based off your favourite belt.
It is based off my favourite belt, yeah. But we'll get to that. No championships or prospects for a match in here, so there's not much more to say about it. I'm glad that they are doing some rivalries outside of the championship picture in the women's division. We haven't seen that in a while. We've just focused. There's been so many, like just focusing on the championships and the tag team championships that it's nice to have something totally separate from the titles. And Bayley's just so funny. That talk show. I hope they bring that out more often. And it's just so like Chris Jericho type talk show where it's like you knock on the door, like go round, knock on the door. Hello, ding dong, hello. Love it. Long may that continue.
It reminds me of when APA had their little gaming thing and they just had a door. People tried to go around it, but they'd have to go through the door.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite going to have the same reaction from Bayley in that. No. I don't think Bayley's going to like kick the crap out of someone for not coming through her door, but she's gonna have a tantrum about it. God damn it, you know.
Yeah.
She reserves the right to be annoyed. Good afternoon, Reese. Welcome.
Yes.
So moving on then, and for the first time in what seems like forever, the Intercontinental title picture seems to be hotting up. After failing against Big E a few weeks ago, Apollo Crews received some advice from Paul Heyman on Talking Smack, and was then seen talking to Roman Reigns in his locker room. Last week on SmackDown, Crews took on Sami Zayn, while Big E slurped some fruit tea on a large settee at ringside. And perhaps showing a new side of himself coming out, Crews defeated Zayn with a handful of tights. This week, last Friday on SmackDown, Sami Zayn had chained himself to the barricade in protest to how he'd been treated. That was until Big E was defending the title against Apollo Crews, and Zayn felt that it was more important than his protest to get in the ring, kick Apollo Crews in the face, and cause a disqualification. They have not announced an Intercontinental title match at the Royal Rumble. But I think we should probably predict one that is a rematch of Crews and Big E, just in case they do it on a pre-show. Yep. That seems like something they might do.
Yep.
And then maybe we should also predict, just in case, they instead go Crews, Big E, Zayn, triple threat.
Yeah.
So not announced, but hedging our bets, because we've still got a few days to go until the Rumble, and we've still got a whole SmackDown to go. We can hedge our bets and predict what we think is going to happen with this. So first of all, what do you think happens if it's Crews versus Big E once again? Sami Zayn's not allowed to be involved. It's just a straight one-on-one between the two.
Yeah. To be honest, either way, because my answer will be the same, I think either way it's going to be Big E.
Yeah, I'm very inclined to agree with you. What's your thinking on that?
Just because they've wanted him to have this singles run for a while now. And they pushed it, you know, like that. And I don't think they want it to end so early, because he's not been champion for very long.
No.
I think they want him to have a longer reign. So I think if it's either one-on-one or a triple threat match, Big E walks away as the champion.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think we're probably heading into a triple threat scenario, in which Sami Zayn will be the one that is pinned, probably by Big E, to put that away and take away any credibility to this I was robbed type situation. He can still complain about it as much as he wants, but he won't be getting in that picture again. Because I think, and Carmen asks, is Apollo Crews heel? That is the way we're going. Yeah, I think Crews will be joining this Roman Reigns stable very shortly. And I think we go from the Royal Rumble, maybe because of something that happens in the Royal Rumble match, if they don't have the Intercontinental title match, for a longer, more drawn-out, more intense rivalry for the Intercontinental Championship between Big E and Apollo Crews. Maybe Crews wins at the end of that. We're not predicting that yet, but I think if anything happens this weekend, I agree with you. Big E retains the title, and it just serves to further build this Apollo Crews thing that's going on. So, an early prediction for a match that has not been announced, but you know what WWE are like. They don't like to announce things too far in advance. They probably tell us there's an intercontinental title match at like 3 p.m. on Sunday. So, yes, right. We're going on to the business end. Belt is imminent, Carmen. You know, stand by.
Just got to wait a little bit longer.
As Dan takes us into the next segment.
Okay, so Monday Night Raw began last week with Randy Orton, who stood in a dark ring with a mask over his burned face. Orton blamed the compassion he showed Alexa Bliss. Later in the night, Alexa Bliss welcomed Raw Women's Champion Asuka to her playground, where Alexa started to talk to figures that were not there. And later in the night, Bliss underwent a metamorphosis during her match with Asuka. Bliss defeated a totally psyched out Raw Women's Champion in Raw's main event. Last night's Raw main event, Alexa got a shot at the Raw Women's Championship, and whilst undergoing 3 costume changes, Bliss seemed poised to win the match until Randy Orton appeared without mask, but face burned, and delivered an RKO to Alexa to end the show. Yeah.
Like, this is continue to be the best part of Raw. And I feel like they're kind of developing Alexa as they go, and they still haven't really decided what they want the end result to look like. But they just keep adding something new every week. Who's she talking to on the swing set?
I don't know. I can't work out whether it's like the Fiend, whether it's Sister Abigail, one of them.
Yeah.
Or somebody else.
Like, the obvious answer is the Fiend, but she is still acting as if he isn't there and that he is, missing right now.
Yeah. So
maybe it isn't him. It's so interesting and it's so entertaining. As Karma mentioned earlier, I love the swing set. I love Alexa's Playground, that other talk show segment. So instead of the Moment of Bliss, we've got Alexa's Playground. I really liked last week the fact that halfway through the match they just changed up her hair and her makeup and went to that kind of more dark place. And then they topped that again this week with going through 3 different changes. We saw a little bit of classic Alexa Bliss, who made out that she'd just been released for the first time in months, but that was clearly all an act. Asuka didn't buy it, and then we saw Dark Alexa Bliss come out. So, do we think that this gets resolved, or do we see the Fiend get involved in this situation at the Royal Rumble on Sunday?
I think the Fiend will have some sort of involvement, whether he's there or not.
Right.
You know what I mean? I said this a couple of weeks ago, where I think Randy Orton will be in the Royal Rumble with his burnt face, and either the Fiend will come down as one of the entrants, or the Fiend won't come down, but it will all go dark, and then there'll be his laughter, and then there'll be flames at the top of the stage, or flames around, that sort of thing. If somebody eliminates him and Alexa's there, lying on the ground next to him, doing that sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, there are so many possibilities of what they could do. So I like your idea. I really like that a lot. The other thing they could do is, Randy Orton's doing well in the Rumble. The lights go out, and when the lights come up, there's just a burning effigy of the Fiend. It looks like the Fiend is there on fire at ringside, and as Randy Orton's looking over the ropes, either he just gets eliminated by somebody, give somebody who is younger or on the way up a bit of a push for eliminating Randy Orton from the Rumble, or Alexa Bliss just sneaks in and throws him over. If Alexa Bliss eliminates Randy Orton from the Rumble, I will lose my mind. That'll be so fun. So, but I don't. As long as they involve the Fiend and Alexa in some way in Randy Orton's elimination from the Rumble, I'm not sure how they can cock this up. To be honest, I know WWE so good at cocking things up, but they're going to have to go above and beyond to cock this up on Sunday. As long as it's not just and then the Rumble happened and Randy Orton was eliminated by X person and nothing happened. There was no Alexa. There was no nothing. That would be how they cock it up if they didn't have anything at all. But there are definitely fingers in pies here from the Fiend, from Bray Wyatt.
Mm.
Yes.
I'm
He
just
really threw
enjoying
Alexa out like Alexa is possessed by the Fiend. Yeah, I think that's where they're trying to go with that third stage of Alexa, with the dark lipstick and the pigtails. That at that point in time, she is the Fiend.
Yeah.
So I would love it if they really went with that, and it was Alexa in the mask, and she was just the Fiend sometimes, and then Bray Wyatt was the Fiend sometimes. Like, that would be great.
Yeah.
Like, you can't kill the Fiend because the Fiend is not a thing. The Fiend is not.
It's
you can set Bray Wyatt's body on fire while he's possessed by the Fiend. That will just hurt Bray Wyatt. You can't kill the Fiend. Yeah, this is like the only scenario in which I like all this. It's like supernatural kind of nonsense. Like, I don't like any TV shows that are like this apart from wrestling. It's weird.
I'm just happy that I'm seeing Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
And is it weird that I really like her outfit?
No, I dig it too. Yeah, they're just knocking this out of the park. It's fantastic.
I like it a little bit too much.
Well, yeah, like,
it's Alexa Bliss, so
it's hardly surprising. Yeah. So,
anyway,
before we get into the next segment, I'm gonna put people out of their misery because we're about to get to our first actually announced championship match at the Royal Rumble. So before we do, bit of a preamble to keep George waiting a bit longer. This time last year, when we started this podcast, we conveniently started it at the beginning of a year. And so we decided that we would predict each pay-per-view. There would be a winner and a loser out of us, and we would keep a tally across the year, and the winner of the year would get a prize. We later decided that prize would be a championship belt, mainly because like, Dan loves championship belts, if that wasn't obvious. And
I don't think it's obvious.
And I, at that time, didn't own a championship belt. I do now, but at the time I did not. And so, late last year, we commissioned the main roster championship belt, and it finally arrived very late. Was it end of last year, or was it the beginning of this year that it finally got here?
It was literally the day after we did the Christmas podcast.
Of course it was. Yeah. So it was like the 19th of December or something like that. Because we were going to reveal it at the Christmas extravaganza. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Show us.
I think we should just draw this out a little bit longer.
It's just too much fun, yeah. So, I won last year. So, even though the belt went to Dan first, as the person who handed over the moolah and arranged it all. Thank you very much for doing that, by the way. Thank you for arranging it. Tell you more, Reese. Absolutely, sir. Give the people what they want.
Sure.
I will explain a bit more to you. So, we initially talked about the design, and we decided on what type of thing we would like.
Yeah. We
sent off our specification to a belt maker who kept us updated all the way through the process. Its design is better. Okay, fine. Right, here we go. Oh dear, you had a bit of a glimpse then, but here we go. I'll bring it out. So, drum roll, please. And I'll talk about it in more detail once I've shown it. But here is the beautiful main roster championship belt.
Woo!
Shiny, shiny gold. So
Yeah,
you'll
baby.
note the side plates are a podcast mic because it's a podcast.
Yep.
A Union Jack because, for better or for worse, we are British. The main body of the belt may seem familiar to you. It is based on the WWE Big Eagle, the Attitude Era belt from the late 90s through to the early 2000s. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. On the other side, a United States flag, because we talk about American wrestling. And a Twitch logo because that's where we do the body of our work.
Yeah.
Nice little TMR at the top, nice blue globe. It's beautiful, and it's mine. And it's stuck over the top of the seat. And
There you go.
can wear this now. Let's just fold that back over a bit. There we go. Right. So I can wear this for that's the wrong shoulder really. It's not going to work for me. Work in progress, you know.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. That's better.
There you go.
That's better. So now, as we predict, I do so in the knowledge that I've got to hold on to this baby. You know.
Yeah, you got to fight for it.
I've got to fight for it. I've at least got it for this year. So we've got some time to see me with the championship belt. It looks quite small on me, but it's a big old belt. It's a chunky monkey.
Yeah.
I want that belt. Can that belt just
monkey.
become a 24/7 belt within the network? Alex pins Jez on Don't Get Me Started. Oh my, Dan's pinned Alex on the Tuesday Night Kill stream. No, it's mine. If you want to win it, then you will need to beat me in the prediction competition and also be a host of this podcast. So good luck. You're probably not going to manage it. Dan can win it. He just needs to be better at predicting than he was last year.
It wasn't that bad.
Did you win?
It was only like but it was only like one. You only won it by one pay-per-view.
But did you win?
No.
No. So therefore, you lost, and that's that, really.
Samurai the Wizard wants to become a host.
Sorry, dude. It's already difficult enough corralling myself and Dan together once a week, let alone trying to get another person involved as well. But, you know, if I or Dan should ever fall ill and we need a guest host, then I'm sure
Cheers, Comrade
at
Wizard.
that point. we don't need Dan, he says. Maybe we'll have you on as a guest sometime.
Yeah.
Me and you, Jez. We can do it. Right, so with that in mind, you can continue to observe the beauty as we get into the rest of the show, which will include some Royal Rumble predictions. It was announced last night on Raw that Asuka and Charlotte would defend the Women's Tag Team Championships against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler at the Royal Rumble. While Asuka has been busy with Alexa Bliss for the last few weeks, Charlotte has been busy watching her dad be petted by Lacey Evans. And so with no actual promotion for this match, or any reason for this match, other than they're the only other tag team that exist on Raw, we've got a championship match. Great.
Yeah. Right.
So weeks on, I've got a very important question. Why did they bother putting the tag team championships on Charlotte and Asuka when they clearly had no intention of them actually doing tag team things and had ideas for singles things? What was the point?
I have no idea.
Absolute waste of time.
And the way I see it going, and this I'm going to go straight into my prediction here.
Do it.
Is that Shayna and Jax will win it because Flair gets involved and Lacey Evans gets involved.
Yeah.
Because that seems the way they're going.
Yeah. You could even have a bit of Asuka with a bit of PTSD from her experience with Fiendy Bliss as well. So she's not fully got her head in the game. She keeps looking over her shoulder or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're right. They do have the perfect recipe for Charlotte and Asuka are not at all focused on their tag team championships, and as a result, they lose the belts to Baszler and Jax, which makes total sense. Yeah. I both hope and predict, so we agree on this one, that Jax and Baszler are going to win the championship back, if nothing else, so that they can actually add some credibility to the rivalry that has been going on in the background of Jax and Baszler against Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. That would actually be a credible women's tag team championship match. So, it better happen. I don't see why they won the belts in the first place, other than it being so Charlotte could have held every belt and blah blah blah. That's the only reason they did it. They had no plan. They had no real kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Incentive, storyline wise, for them to win. Yeah. So let's undo that as quickly as possible and put the belts back on Baszler and Jax. There we go then.
Yeah.
There's one prediction in. One prediction for the belts. Shiny, shiny.
Anyway. I could just get all my belts in shot and then now just,
It's not the main roster belt though, is it, Dan? All that money you spent and you haven't earned a belt yet. This is an earned belt.
It says I haven't earned all these.
Crack on. Let's get into the next segment.
Okay, so the problems continue to bubble to the surface between the Raw Tag Team Champions Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. During a 6-man tag team match between the Hurt Business and the team of the Lucha House Party and Riddle, the tag team champs continued to argue even as Lashley picked up the win. Riddle continuing to torment the group with quick attacks. The original Bro had the opportunity to earn a United States Championship match by defeating the Hurt Business in a gauntlet match. The infighting continued to cost the Hurt Business, led to the elimination of both Shelton Benjamin and MVP, but it was a clean victory over Cedric Alexander that propelled Riddle forwards towards a United States Championship match.
And once again, they haven't announced that this match is going to happen at the Royal Rumble. But we should probably predict as if it is going to happen at the Royal Rumble, just in case. So we'll get to that shortly. Last time we talked about this, I did not understand why they were adding any kind of tension between Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. And I still don't understand why they've added that tension. But at least it has been more entertaining and it's fitted into the story a lot more this time than it did before. So I'm not mad at it. As annoyed as I was by it first time around, it does make a lot more sense now. And it's been entertaining to a point. I liked the involvement of R-Truth, who wanted MVP's new bling that said THB for the Hurt Business on it. But he was like, "Oh, look, you bought me a chain. It says Truth. It stands for Truth. Happy birthday." Like, nice.
Good old R-Truth.
Yeah. And they carried that on Raw Talk as well. My voice keeps dropping, sorry. Don't know if you watch Raw Talk.
No, I didn't actually.
They had MVP and Lashley on. And MVP basically came out and said, the words that come out of your mouth, they better not piss me off, or it's going to be on, is what he said.
Yeah.
And so, there's more to come there with that entertainment, so that's good. And it's nice to have Bobby Lashley actually have to potentially defend his United States Championship against someone once in a while.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah. So,
finally.
Unless you have any thoughts about this whole situation, no? Let's
not
crack
really,
into a prediction. You can't say not really and then carry on talking. That's not how it works. But you feel free. Let's assume the match happens on Sunday. Lashley, Riddle, United States Championship. Who takes it?
I think Riddle.
Really?
Matthew Riddle. Yes, purely because I want to see him with a championship belt.
Yeah.
And I think the Hurt Business might come down to ringside and just implode again and cause Ashley to lose the belt.
Yeah, I don't see any problem with that assessment at all, actually. Right, seen the belt, I'm heading off, peace. Yeah, whatever. You're still here. what was I saying before he distracted me? Yeah, I don't see any reason for them to. Yeah, I don't see any reason for them to keep the belt on Lashley anymore. I don't think they're going to keep the tag team championships on Cedric and Shelton until, well, they'll keep them on them for as long as they don't have anyone to put them on, which might be quite some time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this implosion might be real, and they're going to have to lose all of their gold before it is settled, either through completely imploding and having fights with each other, pardon me, or because they come back together because they've lost all their belts and they realise that everything's falling apart while they're infighting. So yeah, when it happens, I think it's Riddle's time. I think Riddle will look fantastic with the ball bag belt, so let's give it to Riddle. I agree. That one. That one. That belt there.
There you go.
Getting the hang of this pointing thing, you know?
Yeah.
First couple of times I didn't even know where I was in the room, but now I can point at things in other rooms. And the belt is over. Yeah.
It's right there.
Right now. So there we go. Another prediction sorted.
Yeah.
And so we'll crack right into another prediction for a scheduled match. Because after weeks of back and forth attacks and not very good promos, Carmella and Sasha Banks will face off once again for the SmackDown Women's Championship at the Royal Rumble. The build for such culminated this past Friday on SmackDown as Sasha Banks defeated Carmella's sommelier, Reginald.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad that I got this segment and you didn't have to try and say sommelier?
Yes. The man with dyslexia here.
Yeah, like, I'm struggling enough with English, thanks. I don't need any French in it as well.
Exactly.
So, this is one of the first intergender matches that we have had in WWE that actually was worth anything for a good 10, maybe even 15 years. Like, they actually mixed it up. Reginald didn't actually really lay a finger on Sasha in all of that.
No.
But, you know, they presented the impression of, you know, oh, he's clearly like stronger because he's a man, blah, 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 all that kind of antique thinking. And then Sasha promptly Hurricane Rana'd him and DDT'd him, locked him in the bank statement, all that good stuff. Do you think this needed to happen? Did we need this match between Reggie and Sasha?
Not really. It was all right to watch. You know, as you said, it's been like one of the better intergender matches ever in WWE. And it was all right to watch, but it really didn't need to happen.
No, I think the only purpose it served in the end was that it showed off that Reginald, if that is his real name, can do all the flippy dippy and is obviously a trained wrestler in and of his own right. So maybe we'll see a bit more from him going forwards. But I really don't feel, as I did for the last match, that this has been built very well at all. Other than, like, you know, Carmella and Sasha going like, you know, I'm the best. No, I'm the best. No, I'm the best. No, I'm the best. Like, smack. That's all. It's been very lacking in substance, their rivalry.
Yes.
And so hopefully we can see the back of it one way or the other after Sunday at the Royal Rumble. Which leads us to predicting it. And I can go first this time if you like. But who wins on Sunday, Carmella or Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Championship? I'm going to be bold and go against the little kind of feeling in my gut that says that Sasha wins. I think it's going to be a shock Carmella victory and we see a new SmackDown Women's Champion on Sunday.
Ooh. I'm going to go opposite to you then, because we've matched on the other ones. I'm going to say Sasha retains. Unfortunately, because I think we'll see an even longer, drawn-out rivalry between them two.
Well, you think it's not over, even if...
No, unfortunately.
I mean, there isn't much else happening on SmackDown women's-wise, other than... who will we talk about? Billie Kay joining the Riot Squad for a bit. But
yeah,
they've got that going on SmackDown, but that's not going to
some reason
take anything into a singles run against a champion. I don't know. Yeah, so no, I think Carmella can lord that over a bit. I hope it's the end of it, regardless of who wins. But we differ. That's the main thing. So
we differ.
Right now, somebody can win. The
there we go.
Selection. Okay.
Are we ready for this?
Well, yeah, I think we just about are. Yeah.
So, Women's Royal Rumble match declared so far. We have Shayna Baszler, Alexa Bliss, Jason Royce, Bianca Belair, Bayley, Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax, Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, Tamina Snuka, Liv Morgan, and Ruby Riott.
And the rest of the field will be taken up by NXT women, I guess, because
and some legends.
Yeah, it'll be. Well, there won't be that many legends, I don't think, this time around. Probably. I'm just trying to think of who else is on the roster that isn't in there, because they'll have all of the signed roster women in this match, because otherwise they're not going to have enough to make the 30. So we're going to have Rakim in there.
Yeah.
We've got Billie Kay to put in there. Who else is there? Tamina in? Did you say Tamina? Yeah, Tamina's in.
Yeah.
That gets us to...
Wow, this is good.
Yeah. So... NXT, woo!
Becky Lynch might reappear.
That's true. That is the big thing, kind of overshadowing all of this, is that Becky Lynch is aiming towards an in-ring return. Is she ready?
Yes, and she did put a picture of her post-workout with her
Baba.
baby.
Yeah.
With Baba, which was quite a cute picture, actually. You know,
it was really nice. Yeah,
keep it in the family.
Yeah. No, the only thing I didn't like about that photo is that she was using it to promote Conor McGregor, whom I loathe. So, but there is that. There is that. But Baba was cute. We still haven't seen Baba's face. I don't think we're going to for a while. I think both she and the Bellas are trying to keep what their baby looks like under wraps. I'm not sure how you will steal an identity of a baby or something. I don't know what the reasoning is for that, but I want to see the cute baby, damn it. Maybe it's ugly. Maybe that's why they're not showing the face. Maybe it's butt ugly.
Butt ugly.
It's already got Seth Rollins.
And it comes from comes from Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch.
Yeah, how ugly can it be?
I don't think it could be ugly.
Yeah. Two of the most attractive people on the planet. It can't be an ugly baby. Make with the baby. Damn it. Want to see the cute baby.
Being a tangent, who do you think is going to win the Royal Rumble?
Oh, this is hard. This is hard. I've honestly no idea. There are some things that make sense a bit more. So if it's not Becky Lynch, like Becky Lynch is on my short list. I mean, how do you want to do this? Do you want to say you must pick a definitive winner, or do you want to say 3 and hedge our bets a bit?
I've got two, maybe three. I've got 3 people in my head that I want to win it. One of them I just want to win it, and you can probably guess who that is.
Yeah.
So shall we say you can have a couple or 3 or whatever?
Yeah, 3.
Yeah, let's go for 3 because I've got a prediction of.
All right. Okay. Sure. Okay. So then my 3 are Becky Lynch, making a return and getting straight back into the picture. Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair. I think she's on the rise. And my third, I'm going to go with Alexa Bliss.
Okay.
That's my least kind of like likely in my book, but yeah, those are my three.
Yes. So we agree on two.
Okay.
Okay. Either Becky Lynch will do the big return, as I've said before, if Alexa Bliss is in a match, I always pick Alexa Bliss. I'm picking Alexa Bliss. And my third and final one, a returning Lana.
Oh god, I love that so much. I think her ankle is still broken or whatever she did, but I don't think she's capable of coming back. But I love the pop, you know? Thanks for giving me a pop. That was amazing. Lana. Amazing. God, I hope it's Lana.
She gets her championship match.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think either of us are going to be happy to have got anything right in that one. That's quite a hard match to pick. But the Women's Royal Rumble has been pretty much the entire time that it's been in existence. Last year, I suppose, was kind of more obvious than others with Charlotte winning it, but yeah. And so we go on to the easy to predict, he says, tongue in cheek, Men's Royal Rumble. Declared so far is an equally short field of people. Jeff Hardy, Jey Uso, Cesaro, The Miz, Otis, for some reason, Bobby Lashley, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, Dolph Ziggler, Sheamus, John Morrison, Mustafa Ali, and Edge.
Again, it's another tough one.
Yeah. Shall I go first?
Yeah, go first.
Are we doing 3 again?
Yeah, let's go for 3.
Okay. So my first bold out there prediction is Brock Lesnar. They've been quiet on Lesnar. Like, the rumor is that's because he's done, but this Brock Lesnar is never actually done. And he could turn up, and we could get Brock Lesnar against Goldberg again at WrestleMania. People want that, right? Head in hands. Yeah, Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. Come on, the match that everybody wants. So yeah, Brock Lesnar is my first.
Right.
My second is Daniel Bryan, because I feel like they've been hyping his. The only thing I haven't done in my career is win a Royal Rumble. I don't know how much more Daniel Bryan has in him. Not in terms of in ring. I think he could go for a lot longer. But I think in this return, after he couldn't wrestle anymore with the repeated concussion problems and the neck and whatever, I don't think he has quite got the same passion for doing it all day, every day, 365 days a year. I think now with a second child at home as well, and the things that have changed in the world with this pandemic, I think he is more inclined to do something a bit more part-time, or move into training or some other. I don't think he wants to be a full-time guy anymore. I think he wants to spend more time at home with his family. Can't blame the guy, to be honest. More power to him. So I think maybe if WWE are down with that and are fine with it, then this begins the start of a brand new run as the champion on his way into part-time or out of the company altogether, whatever. So that's number 2, Daniel Bryan. The third one, a real kind of outside look, and it's purely because of the way that WWE have been using him for the last couple of weeks. It's pretty similar to the way that they were like hinting with Drew McIntyre. It's on the nose, but could happen. Cesaro. I think, they might do Cesaro and take him over to Raw to face McIntyre if he beats Goldberg.
Yeah.
They could even take Cesaro over to face Goldberg. I don't know. I don't know why they'd put anyone against Goldberg in a WrestleMania main event, but there you go. That's the thing that is happening in previous WrestleManias and possibly this one. There you go. So there's my 3: Brock Lesnar, Daniel Bryan, or Cesaro. Over to you.
So I'm really thinking, it's a really tough one. That my absolute random one is one of my favourite wrestlers, Jeff Hardy. That's my random pluck out of the air, and because I like Jeff Hardy.
A guy who wasn't even on Raw this week and wrestled on main event instead.
Yes, exactly. I'm going to agree with you on the Cesaro front.
Mm-hmm.
And then my absolute random one would be a surprise returning Seth Rollins.
Oh, yes. I do expect to see Seth Rollins in this Rumble for sure.
Yeah.
Because they put off I'd forgotten about Seth Rollins. They teased his return just before Christmas, and then that didn't happen. And I'm like, well, of course, you save him for the Rumble. Why would you not wait a month and do that? So I like that.
Yeah.
I don't think he wins, but I'm looking forward to seeing Seth in the Rumble. I wonder what Seth we get.
Yes, whether it's the Monday Night Messiah or the Friday Night Savior, whatever he's calling himself, or Burn It Down, whoever. But I think if he does win, he will go after the Universal, and we'll see Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. And it'll be the new Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. And I think that would actually be really cool.
I think it would be cool as well. Obviously, we have seen that match over and over and over again. But Roman Reigns as a heel against a babyface Seth Rollins, we have not seen. So, very interesting thought, that. And I wish I'd have thought of it myself, because that's very, very possible.
I can see them really playing it out as if, like, Roman Reigns will be, like, embracing Seth Rollins, glad you're back. We're brothers, need to follow me now, you know what I'm on about,
I'm the head of the table.
I'm the head of the table. Follow me.
Welcome, Rooster. Thank you for noticing my sexy championship belt. This is the main roster championship belt that I won by being, me, actually. That's all you need to know. Yeah. I'm glad you think so, Dan. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you. Interesting final thought about this men's Royal Rumble. Neither of us have said Edge.
Yeah.
What do we think his return looks like? Being that
I think
this is another return in a Royal Rumble. Last year he got that huge pop. And it was
massive.
Totally unexpected, totally off the wall, and it was massive. This year, he spent more time injured than he has in the ring. He's only had one opponent.
Yeah.
And we know he's coming.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a anticlimax, surely. I don't know how this goes.
Yes.
setting up a new
It's a
rivalry
tricky one.
with someone, possibly.
Yeah.
Can we
Is he
not?
going to argue it?
Can we not go back to Randy Orton?
Yeah, I don't know.
It depends on the match order and the way that they do this.
Yeah.
I would like to see
Mm.
Edge turn heel and cost McIntyre the championship.
That'd be interesting.
You know, I would like to see that. If Edge were to win the Royal Rumble and go on to face Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, I wouldn't be against that either, I suppose.
I wouldn't.
But,
No.
Yeah. Roos says, I say he throws out two people and then they have one of the newer guys eliminate him so that they can feud Edge. Edge can either bury them or put them over. Yeah. It depends what the purpose of Edge is in 2021. Is it he, expects to be there a bit longer and so is going to have some feuds against younger guys and put them over and then, go on a title run? Or is it, no, I've got like 2 weeks left in me, give me the belt and then I'm out of here, thanks very much. Depends what kind of mindset we're in. And going by his promo on Raw, it does sound like the latter. I'm not a writer, but I've watched enough wrestling to know how that goes. Yeah. You are a learned wrestling fan, much as we are. I've been going through watching WWE's brainwaves, shall we say, for a very long time. It can be predictable at times. We know the kind of mindset these people go in, but your prediction seems totally reasonable, Rooster. I'm down with it.
Yes.
Shall we move on to World Championships?
Yes.
On this card.
So, with Drew McIntyre absent last week due to COVID, and Goldberg absent due to part-time 19, Mr. Money in the Bank, The Miz and John Morrison took the opportunity to reinsert themselves in the title picture. Miz and Morrison hosted impersonators Gilbert and some fat dude from New Jersey on the dirt sheet. After they had their fun, Miz vowed that neither McIntyre or Goldberg would win at Royal Rumble because he would be cashing in the contract and walking out as champion. It repeated this strategy last night on Raw, but this time McIntyre and Goldberg were in the building to take exception and delivered a spear and a claymore to the pair.
I did wonder when they would remember that they made the decision to put the Money in the Bank contract back in Miz's hands. Because they did that, they had their little celebration, and then there was nothing for a while. They started feuding with the New Day until Kofi hurt himself and they had to rejig that. So I'm not sure that they have any kind of long-term plan for the Miz and that Money in the Bank contract. I feel like they're just dealing with that week to week, and they're going to get to a point where they've run out of time. So I think Miz just needs to lose it now. The way that I could see this happening, the Miz, that is, not the actual title match. I'll get to that in a second. But if Goldberg were to win the championship, I think the Miz would cash in immediately and try and prey on a weak Goldberg and just get speared and jackhammered, and that's the end of that. So
I could see that happening.
So if Goldberg wins, I predict Miz cashes in there and then.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Does that mean that I predict Goldberg wins this match on Sunday? I'm not sure. Have you got a clear prediction in mind?
I'm really not sure, but I'm swaying more towards McIntyre. I mostly because I don't want to see Goldberg win it. I don't want to see him win it. I really don't.
No. And no, I'm going to go with it. I think McIntyre retains. because I don't think even in the face of declining ratings, where they brought back Legends to try and do something to bring in some old fans, I don't think there's much benefit to having Goldberg as WWE champion right now, as being the face of your company. When you can't have crowd there, why would you have a part-time guy that can only be there like a few times a year? Or wants to be there a few times a year, I should say. He could be there all the time if he really wanted to, but there's just so much more potential for McIntyre to have opponents going into WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I think McIntyre.
Now we both agree on that.
Yeah, that's your official prediction.
There we go.
But
Excellent.
I really wish they hadn't brought Goldberg back at all. I don't even dislike Goldberg. It's just, just build someone else.
It's because they've gone, Sting is now on AEW, we need Goldberg or some other legend.
Oldie.
That's the only reason.
Yeah. Great. Before we move on, a little side topic question. Rooster Beast asks, what's your take on the camera cuts in WWE like it's an action movie? What do you think?
I thought it was alright. I enjoyed it. So it made it a bit more interesting, considering there's not a lot going on with WWE at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, they every couple of months they kind of add a new idea into how they're going to film things. And they've been doing the quick cuts, but that's not the thing that I've kind of noticed the most out of the changes they made in the last couple of weeks. They had the drone for a while, and they would, for entrances, they'd start it at the back of the Thunderdome, and then they'd kind of fly it across the ring to the entrance, and then they'd like cut that feed and go to the main feed when the person exited. But now they seem to have upgraded the camera, because the camera on the drone was grainy and terrible. But they seem to have upgraded that now. Or maybe it's not a drone at all. Maybe I'm just imagining it being a drone. But the way that it sits makes me think it's a drone.
Yeah.
And
I think it's a drone.
As wrestlers get kind of halfway down the ramp, from then through to like turning the corner and going up the ring steps, they've got this kind of mirrorless looking camera that really focuses on what's in the foreground and the wrestler. It kind of like smooths everything out a bit, and they look a bit like a cartoon character or video game character, and then it totally like blurs or out of focuses the background, and that's new in the last couple of weeks. And I'm not sure how I feel about it. Like, the only thing I can compare it to is in the NFL, they've got NFL films filming extra footage on the side of games that just looks more kind of cinematic or like movie. It just looks a bit like that, and I'm not sure how I feel about it just being part of the main show. Save that stuff for documentary, maybe. Yeah,
I quite like it, to be honest. That again, that's just my opinion. It just makes it, as I said, it makes it more interesting to watch because it's a bit drags it out a bit longer.
Yeah, I suppose you've got to mix things up, especially in this time with no crowd. What's happening in the background isn't quite as important as when there was somebody there with a crowd sign or a child booing or whatever.
Absolutely.
You do have apathetic faces quite a lot of the time on the screens. It makes me wonder who's making the decisions about who gets to be in the quote-unquote front row of the Thunderdome. Because surely you would you'd pick the most enthusiastic people rather than the people who are literally just sat there in front of their laptop just watching the screen.
Yeah. I think it's random, but there is somebody monitoring it, so if they do anything rude or anything, they get kicked out. But apart from that,
wear an AEW shirt or
wear a KKK outfit.
Yeah, that got through once, didn't it?
Yeah, and a beheading as well.
Really?
Somebody started a video, like they got it on their phone and they put it up to it, and it started somebody being beheaded, and then it cut.
Oh,
It was all over the Facebook.
I did not know that one. Yeah, no.
And there was one that said "Fire Velveteen Dream," which was kind of funny.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah. Whatever. But
yeah.
you should just pick some enthusiastic people, I think, because like just having some like hairy guy there who's like got his face right up to the camera is just like that, as if his camera's right in front of the screen, and he's just like. It's like, it doesn't say much about your product.
I see you on Thunderdome.
Yeah, that was me last week. Yeah, but it doesn't say much about their product, does it? Like this guy does not care. He's bored. Like he's got no enthusiasm or energy or emotion in him whatsoever. It's like, and he's the one that you're broadcasting out to millions of people around the world. Like, choose some of the the young people who just don't sit still for the entire time. Yeah, it might be a bit blurry, but at least they're excited and there's a bit of energy in the room.
Yeah. It's either that, they've either got it as you did, right up close, or they've got it pointing from down below.
Oh God, yeah. Like,
so you just
yeah, like an old man taking a Facebook profile picture.
Yes, exactly that. So
yeah, sort it out.
Anyway,
and actually, I know we're off topic there, but I do have another bit of off topicness, and it is related to news that happened this week. They announced officially that WrestleMania was going to in the first place Raymond James Stadium for 2 nights. Are we looking, in your opinion, at a Thunderdome style experience where they fill the stands with screens, or do you think WrestleMania will be the time that we see crowds return to WWE?
I think they're trying their hardest, and I think they'll pull it off to get crowds. I think they will pull it off. I don't know how they're going to pull it off, whether there's screens, whether there's whatever. But I think they're going to pull it off. And there's one thing I will say, they're not going to set any attendance records.
No. I think that is a pretty safe prediction there, Daniel. Yeah. I agree with you. I think it's kind of be a mixture of both. I think they have Thunderdome screens there, and they probably charge for them this time instead of giving them out for free to really, get people that actually want to be there. And I think they use those screens as part of the social distancing. We've seen throughout the NFL playoffs crowds that are socially distant in the arenas. So it'll be like you've got one family, and they'd usually sell them as like family tickets so that you can have people in bubbles or whatever. So you have one family, and then along the row from them 6 feet, another one, and then another one. And you can usually get like 3 families a row that way.
Yeah.
Then they miss like 3 seats or rows to add that 6 foot in there, and then they do the same again. And as a result of that, they can get in about 9,000 people of the like 60, 70,000 capacity that you get in these massive NFL stadiums. And I don't think they know what they want to do yet. I think the test is, and this is really interesting, not this Sunday, but the Sunday after, the Super Bowl is in Raymond James Stadium. And they are having a limited crowd for the Super Bowl in that stadium.
Oh, okay.
So they might be waiting for the NFL to try it out, see how it works, see what infection rates are like as a result of it afterwards, and what happens. Like they can get a whole lot of data from this event, and then decide weeks before No, we're going to have this amount of crowd, this amount of screens. We're going to have no crowd or screens. We're going to have all crowd, no screens. And they can decide that way. So, yeah, if you are a wrestling fan, keep an eye on the Super Bowl, if only for the attendance type of aspect of it, to see how they handle that. But, 7,000 of the people that are invited to the Super Bowl are vaccinated healthcare workers. And so WWE could look to do something similar.
Yes.
Get in crowds while making it as safe as possible. I'm not sure how enthusiastic, vaccinated healthcare workers would be about professional wrestling. Remains to be seen. But that could be one way that they do it. They find a group of people that they want to reward that have been vaccinated and bring them in. Armed forces they could do.
Yeah, armed forces, they're all about that, aren't they? So
somebody that's not going to sue them when they catch COVID at WrestleMania is probably the answer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
But before we get to WrestleMania, getting back on track,
yes,
our final match to discuss going into the Royal Rumble on Sunday is the Universal Championship match between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. During last week's SmackDown, the then new number one contender Adam Pearce was encouraged to sign a contract to face Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble in a last man standing match. At the end of the night, Adam Pearce did indeed sign the contract, but then declared that he would not be medically cleared to compete by the Royal Rumble, and so he would be exercising his right to name a replacement, Kevin Owens. Obviously upset to have been spurned, Reigns and Heyman started this week's SmackDown with a verbal tirade directed towards Adam Pearce. After Pearce came out, Heyman got in his face and challenged him to a match. Pearce accepted, and in the main event, it was card subject to change once again, and Paul Heyman named Roman Reigns as his replacement after the special counsel hurt his knee entering the ring. After the fight moved into the crowd, Kevin Owens arrived and jumped Reigns. Owens took out all of his frustrations on the Universal Champion and put him through the announce table as SmackDown went off the air.
Yes. I was really looking forward to seeing Roman Reigns versus Adam Pearce.
Me too, man. Scrap Daddy P. I think it's Scrap Daddy P's time. Said no one ever. That said, I have liked this setup. I do wish it was somebody other than Kevin Owens that was going into that spot. But I would have preferred if maybe, they could have been anyone. Like Adam Pearce decided to look back at his connections in Ring of Honor and maybe bring up one of the Undisputed Era just to take a beating on his behalf at the Rumble or something like that.
Cool.
Make it look like, bring up Kyle O'Reilly or something and be like, Kyle O'Reilly's my mate. He's an active superstar. He's my replacement. And he puts up a good fight against Roman Reigns, but ultimately loses. That might have been cool.
Yeah.
I suppose Kevin Owens is fine, but to jump into the prediction, I still don't see Kevin Owens winning the belt. Even now, this is his third opportunity to do so. We've kind of gone back into the cycle of this time last year where we have the same championship match 3 events in a row. I hate that so much. I really want some fresh kind of things going month on month. If they wanted to bring Kevin Owens back later in the year or at a later date, fine, but I don't want to see the same opponents 3 months in a row. It just doesn't do it for me. I'm sure I'm not the only one. The Paul Heyman part of it, where they had him against Adam Pearce, I thought that was going to go in a different direction. I thought that was a way of getting Adam Pearce back into the match with Roman Reigns. I thought it was going to be, Paul Heyman challenges Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce accepts. They ring the bell and say, "Oh, well, you're cleared to compete in this match after you said that you weren't medically cleared. So I guess there's no need for a replacement anymore. The match is back on. It's you and Roman Reigns, last man standing at Royal Rumble. I'm going to get counted out now. Thanks very much. Thanks for coming. See you later.
Bye.
That would have been cool.
I would have liked
that. But I still kind of liked the idea that the replacement there and then was Roman Reigns as well. That was kind of neat.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's your turn now.
What to predict?
Mm-hmm.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah? Or was it that simple?
Roman Reigns, he's not going to lose. Unfortunately, I mean, as much as I'd like to see Kevin Owens win championship again, I don't think he will.
No. Not under these circumstances.
No.
Reigns is just so on fire right now. His heel work is just so on point, and it's
brilliant.
I can't say enough about how fantastic Roman Reigns has been since coming back as a heel. It's such a breath of fresh air considering the stale, nonsense, boring Roman Reigns we've had. Well, since he came up to the main roster, really. He hasn't been this interesting since he was at NXT. Pre-Shield. Pre all of that.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. I don't want Kevin Owens to win. I want the belt to stay on Roman Reigns straight through WrestleMania, and I want a good, credible babyface opponent for Roman Reigns. And I like your Seth Rollins idea. I really do.
I think that'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
Babyface Seth Rollins versus the heel Roman Reigns.
The thing that was rumoured that we haven't talked about here is The Rock.
Oh, yes. Yes. Rock versus Roman Reigns.
If we're getting The Rock and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, maybe we get The Rock back in the Rumble.
That'd be good.
I'm still sceptical. I don't think it's going to happen at all. But it'd be neat. It'd be cool. I'd enjoy it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's got nothing else to do right now, let's be honest. Most movie productions have been shut down. He bought the XFL, but he can't do anything with that until 2022. So why not spend a couple of months back in WWE just to keep his name out there, earn a paycheck,
and a bit of pocket money.
Yeah. Maybe you can buy another football organisation or something.
Might want to buy a baseball organisation.
Yeah.
Or a basketball organisation.
The XBL instead of the XFL. Yeah, start your own. Why not?
Might start up his own wrestling business.
Imagine Vince pays him money and then he takes it to go and buy AEW and be the competition.
That'd be funny.
Yes, it would. So there we go. Those are our recaps and predictions for this Sunday's Royal Rumble event. We'll be back to discuss the Royal Rumble at this time next week. Tune in for that. But that's not all that you can watch here on the Primetime Streaming Network.
No, it's not.
Here is what's coming up this week. So, in a matter of moments, we're going to send you over to Captain Soro, who is playing a randomized version of Super Mario 64, which means it's Super Mario 64, but the story is all over the place. All the tokens you collect and the stars and things are all in random places. I think Toadstool was the enemy rather than Bowser. It's crazy and all over the place and highly entertaining. So do stick around for that. Captain Sora is here 4:30 p.m. every day this week with something randomized. Later on tonight at 7:30 p.m. GMT, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, it's the Tuesday night kill stream with Always Be Chatting. He's playing The Witcher 3, as is tradition for a Tuesday night. Tomorrow night, after Captain Sora at 4:30 that we mentioned, at 7:30, it's Wargame Scenery Build with Captain Brilliant. He's building some scenery for a wargame. Clues in the name. And then at 9 p.m, it's Don't Get Me Started, right here on The Jez Show, with me and Always Be Chatting. 11 p.m, Fortnite with Little Cute Girl 86. And the night closes at 1 a.m. GMT, 8 p.m. Eastern, with Rooster Beast playing the drums. Many more things happening later in the week. They're on your screen, but stay tuned to all of our streams across our wonderful team of streamers for more information as the week progresses. Let me just do a very quick look to see if Captain Sorrow is live. I assume he is at this point, being as it is exactly 4:30 now. Yes, he is live, so we can send you over to him. Thank you very much for joining us here on this episode of the main roster. I'm looking forward to the Royal Rumble. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I am.
I'm pleased to finally keep holding it upside down. I don't know why I do that. Pleased to finally have.
Why did I give you the belt? Hold it properly, Matt.
Do a bit of who is it? Kyle O'Reilly. Play it like a guitar. There you go. So
NWO.
Yeah, I assume that's what he's dancing to. I don't have my chat, so it's really difficult to type in. Let me just get there. There we go. Right. I'm ready to send you over to Captain Sorrow. I've been Jez.
I've been Dan.
And you have been on the ride that is the Main Roster Podcast. Thank you for joining. Enjoy the Rumble. See you next week.
Bye.